Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. Today, I'm going to recap the NBA and Stanley Cup playoff games as well as the WNBA and Major League Baseball and look ahead to the games today. College football FBS begins tonight. I'll preview and pick those games. We'll go over the leaderboard at the Tour Championship and my best bet of the day. We'll start in the NBA. 2 games last night, 2 games today. Without further ado, here we go. The Heat defeated the Bucks 116-114 to take a 2-0 series lead. 2 egregious foul calls in this game. One on Goran Dragic and Chris Middleton made 3 free throws to tie the game, and one on Giannis. And that was pretty much at 0-0. Jimmy Butler made the 2 free throws. The game ended. Miami's up 2-0. Goran Dragic had 23 points to lead the way for Miami. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 29 points and 14 boards for the Bucks. Rockets over the Thunder 104-102 to win Game 7 to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. Robert Covington had 21 points and 10 boards. Luke Stewart had 30 points. Chris Paul had 19 with 12 assists and 11 boards, so a triple-double for Chris Paul, but still couldn't get it done. The Rockets' defense stepped up late in the game when it mattered. James Harden blocked a Luke Stewart 3-point attempt towards the end of the game. James Harden, not known for his defense, makes a big defensive play to perhaps save his team's season, and they take on the Lakers, which that series will begin on Friday night. Looking ahead to tonight at 6:30 on TNT of the Raptors and the Celtics. The Raptors are favored by 2. I'd make it 3.5. 217.5's the total. I would take the over. I think these offenses are very good. And I think that even without Gordon Hayward, I think that the Celtics offense is on a roll, and I think Toronto's due for a good offensive game. I think Toronto wins to get on the board in the series, but give me the over. 9 o'clock on TNT, you have the Nuggets and the Clippers. The Clippers are favored by a whopping 8.5 over under 223. Give me the Denver Nuggets getting the 8.5. I don't know why this line is so low, or so high, I mean. Like, Denver's good. Like, put respect on their name. Jamal Murray's playing. Michael Porter Jr. is playing. Give me the Denver Nuggets getting 8.5. The Clippers will win the game, but I think that this will be a competitive game 1. And I think the Clippers win this series in 6. And out west, I'm going to say that the Lakers win in 6. And then I had Raptors in 6, and I had the Bucks in 6. I think all 4 favorites in their respective series win their series in 6 games. Now we'll move on to the NHL. We will go over last night's game and look ahead to the game today, or games today, I should say. Avalanche defeated the Stars 4-1 to force a Game 7 for Friday night. The number 3 started game with 27 saves on 28 shots. The backup goaltender, Michael Hutchinson. The number 2 started the game with a goal and assist, Mikko Rantanen. And number 1 started the game with a goal and assist, Nathan McKinnon. 2 Game 6s tonight. 7 o'clock NBCSN, you have the Flyers and the Islanders. Isles up 3-2 in the series. I had Flyers in 6 as my pick. I think the Isles close them out. The Isles are a team that is built for the postseason. They have the better coach. Philadelphia probably has the better team, but the Isles are just simply built for the playoffs, and I think they're going to get it done tonight to close out the Philadelphia Flyers as they're going to enter in an offseason with some questions. 9:45 NBCSN, the Golden Knights and the Canucks. Vegas is a ridiculous minus 240. Vancouver to force a Game 7 is plus 210. They are 2-1 in Game 5, and I should have bet it because they won outright. I think Vegas closes out tonight, too. They're just a better team. I think they're the best team left in the bubble. And I think they're going to get it done. So give me the Vegas Golden Knights to close out the Vancouver Canucks tonight. But if any underdog wins tonight, it's going to be Philadelphia, who was plus 115 to force a Game 7 against the New York Islanders. Now I'll move on to Major League Baseball. We will recap yesterday's games and look ahead to the games today, which are actually getting underway shortly. Rockies over the Giants 9-6. Rockies 18-19. San Francisco 18-20. Michael Givens to win in his Rockies debut. He's 1-0. Getting charged with loss for San Francisco was Sam Conrud. He's 0-1. And Daniel Bard gets his 4th save of the season. Home runs. Mike Yastrzemski from Colorado. Garrett Hampson and Sam Hilliard. And by the way, the Rockies were down 6-1. They rallied to win that game against San Francisco. So good bounce back win after getting defeated 22-3 or whatever that score was the other night. Rays over the Yankees 5-2. Big win for Tampa Bay to separate themselves in the division. 4.5 up on the Yankees. I think it's almost a wrap at this point. They're 26-12. Yanks are 20-15. Getting the win for Tampa Bay. John Curtis, he's 2-0. Jordan Montgomery, the loss, he's 2-2. Home runs in this game, Randy Arozarena and Mike Rousseau homered twice. And Clint Frazier homered for the Yankees. Charlie Morton started, but he got pulled early due to a pitch count. 2 no-hit innings, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts here at 4.82. Jordan Montgomery was terrible. 2/3 of an inning, 5 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts here at 5.76. Mets over the Orioles 9-4. A big win for the Mets. They are 16-21. Baltimore 16-20. David Peterson the win. He's 4-0. John Means the loss 0-3. Home runs. Michael Conforto, Pete Alonso. Michael Wacha started 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 4 strikeouts here at 7.2. John Means 5 2/3, 8 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and a strikeout ERA 8.1. Reds over the Cardinals 4-3. Reds are 16-21. St. Louis 14-14. Raciel Iglesias the win. He's 2-2. Giovanni Gallegos lost 1-1. The game ended on a walk-off single by Joey Votto. Home runs in this game: Brad Miller and Yadier Molina for the Cardinals, and Tucker Barnhart for the Reds, who had a big 2-run shot in the bottom of the 5th to tie it up at 3. Tyler Mahle, 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 3.9. Getting the start for the Cardinals was Johan Oviedo, 4 2/3, 3 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and a strikeout, ERA 4.3. Blue Jays over the Marlins 2-1. The Blue Jays are 19-16. They're a game back of the Yankees. That's incredible. Miami is 16-16. Hyunjin Ryu the win. He's 3-1. Sixto Sanchez lost 1-1. Anthony Bass gets his 4th save of the season. The lone home run in this game was Yuli Gurriel Jr. in the top of the 5th for Toronto. Sixto Sanchez was unreal. 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, a walk, or no walks, 5 strikeouts here, 2.37. I would take a flyer on him for National League Rookie of the Year. Hyunjin Ryu, 6 innings, 5 hits, and a run, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts here, 2.72. Phillies over the Nationals 3-0. The Phils are 17-15. Washington 12-22. Zach Wheeler to win 4-0. Max Scherzer lost 3-2. Brandon Workman gets his 4th save of the year. Lone home run in this game was off the bat of Jay Bruce. Zach Wheeler, 6 2/3, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 2.2. He was brilliant. Max Scherzer, 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, or 6 strikeouts, ERA 3.95. So a better start for Max Scherzer. Cubs over the Pirates 8-2. The Cubs with the big win. They're 22-14. Pittsburgh 10-24. Kyle Hendricks the win. He's 4-4. Joe Musgrove the loss 0-4. Home runs: Colin Moran, Javier Baez, and from Pittsburgh, the left fielder, Anthony Alford, who was the former Blue Jays prospect. Cal Hendricks, 6 innings, 6 hits, and a run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 3.78. Joe Musgrove, 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 6.62. Braves over the Red Sox 7-5. The Braves 22-14. Boston 12-25. Getting the win for Atlanta, Tyler Matzik, he is 3-2. The loss for Boston, Andrew Triggs, he's 0-1. Mark Melancon gets his 8th save of the season. Home runs, Adam Duvall, who homered 3 times. Marcelo Zuna, Jackie Bradley Jr. Getting the start for Atlanta was Robbie Erlin. 46 hits, 5 runs, 3 strikeouts, and 2 walks. ERA 6.95. The opener for the Red Sox was Robinson Leiter. An inning, a hit, no runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. ERA 4.5. Brewers over the Tigers 8-5. The Brewers are 17-19. Detroit 17-17. Getting the win, Eric Yardley. He's 2-0. Joe Jimenez lost 1-2. Josh Hader gets his 9th save of the season. The lone home run in the game. Actually, no, there's 2 home runs. I'm sorry. Keston Hiura homered for Milwaukee, and so did Jace Peterson, who pinch hit for Avasael Garcia. Adrian Hauser, 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, a walk, 2 strikeouts, ERA 4.97. Spencer Turnbull, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 5 runs, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, ERA 3.89. Indians over the Royals 5-0. 23-14 are the Indians. KC 14-23. Tristan McKenzie 2-0 gets the win. Jacob Judas lost 0-1. Home runs in this game, Tyler Naquin, who hit 2. McKenzie 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 1.69. He's an American League Rookie of the Year candidate. Jacob Judas 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, no walks, and a strikeout, ERA 4.32. Astros over the Rangers 2-1. Houston 20-15. Texas 13-22. Christian Javier to win 4-1. Colby Allard to loss 0-4. Ryan Presley gets his 7th save of the season. Home runs, Michael Brantley and Isaiah Kaner-Falefa. Javier 6 2/3, 2 hits and a run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 3.35. Allard 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 5.4. That was one of his best starts of his young career. Twins over the White Sox 8-1. My best bet missed by 1 run. Minnesota 22-16. Chicago 22-15. Jose Barrios the win. He's 3-3. Reynaldo Lopez the loss 0-2. Home runs, Jake Cave, Miguel Sano, Eddie Rosario. Maybe if the White Sox offense was a little better, then obviously I win. The best bet. Barrios 6 innings, 3 hits and a run, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, here at 4.29. That was one of his better starts of the year. Reynaldo Lopez, an inning and 2/3, 4 hits and a run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 8.38. Padres over the Angels 11-4. The Padres are 23-15. The Angels 12-25. Getting the win for San Diego, Tim Hill, he's 2-0. Ty Battery to loss, he's 1-2. Home runs, Mike Trout, Jurickson Profar, and Eric Hosmer. Danielson Lamet, 6 1/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, and walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 2.62. Julio Teheran, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 7.94. Dodgers over the Diamondbacks, 3-2 in 10 innings on a walk-off single by Will Smith. Dodgers 28-10. Arizona 14-23. Kenley Jansen the win, he's 2-0. Junior Guerrero the loss, 1-1. Home runs, Christian Walker and Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts obviously tied the game in the 9th inning on a homer to center. Diamondbacks took the lead in the top of the 10th on a bases-loaded walk by Christian Walker. And then the error by Guerrero scored the tying run. It was Muncy that scored, and then Smith got the walk-off for the Dodgers. Walker Buehler, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, a walk, 6 strikeouts, ERA 3.6. So good start in his first start back off the injured list. Gallen, 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, ERA 1.8. He's been absolutely brilliant this year. It's just unfortunate that his team's always in bad luck when he pitches. A's Mariners was postponed. Makeup date September 14th. That was a COVID casualty game. Today's slate at getting underway in a minute. Cubs Pirates from Pittsburgh. Alec Mills and JT Brubaker. Mills 3-2, 5.23 ERA, whip of 1.16. Brubaker no decisions, 4.5 ERA, whip of 1.4. Rangers Astros at 2 o'clock. Lance Lynn, Zach Greinke, good pitching matchup. Lynn 4-1 to 1.93 ERA, whip of 0.92. Greinke 2-0, 2.68 ERA, whip of 0.94. Nationals Phillies at 4 o'clock. Anibal Sanchez and Zach Eflin. Sanchez 1-4 to 6.9 ERA, whip of 1.7. Eflin 2-1 to 4.1 ERA, whip of 1.29. A's Mariners postponed, makeup date September 26th. Yankees Mets. This is a makeup game from August 23rd. It was a COVID makeup game, so this game's being played at Citi Field. Jay Happ and Roberto Gesellman. Happ 1-1 with a 4.05 ERA, whip of 1.15. Gesellman, no decisions, 5.19 ERA, whip of 1.62. Padres Angels. Mike Clevenger against Andrew Heaney. Clevenger making his Padres debut. Heaney 2-2 with a 4.62 ERA, whip of 1.24. Blue Jays Red Sox at 7:30 from Fenway. Taijuan Walker, Martin Perez. Walker 3-2 with a 3.27 ERA, whip of 1.09, so he's making his Blue Jays debut. Perez 2-4 with a 4.58 ERA, whip of 1.27. 8 o'clock, White Sox and the Royals. Dylan Cease against Danny Duffy. Cease 4-2 with a 3 ERA, whip of 1.36. Duffy 2-2 with a 4.11 ERA, whip of 1.06. At 9:40, Diamondbacks Dodgers. Luke Weaver and Clayton Kershaw. Weaver 1-5 with 8.23 ERA, whip of 1.76. Kershaw 4-1 with a 1.8 ERA, whip of 0.77. Now we'll move on to the WNBA. We will recap the games from last night, and we will look ahead to the games being played tonight. Lynx over the Sky 86-83. The Lynx are 12-5. Chicago 11-7. Demarius Dantas 28 points for Minnesota. And Allie Quigley at 23 for Chicago. Sparks over the Wings 91-83. The Sparks 13-4. Dallas 6-11. Candace Parker at 22 with 10 boards and 6 assists. Arike Agumbali had 17 with 5 assists for Dallas. Storm over the Mystics 71-64. Seattle 14-3, Washington 4-12. Brown Asort had 16 and 14 boards. Maisha Hines Allen had 2.6 boards. I screwed that one up. That was supposed to not be the featured one. I clicked on the wrong player. My bad. Emma Messiman had 17 for Washington. 3 games tonight. None of them are on TV. 6:30, the Dream and the Liberty. Dream 4-13, Liberty 2-14. Good opportunity for the Liberty to get a win there. 8 o'clock, Aces and the Sun. Aces 12-4, Sun 8-9. I think the Sun have a chance to upset the Aces. And 10 o'clock, the Fever and the Mercury. The Fever are 5-12, and the Mercury are 10-7. Mercury are playing better after their sluggish start to their season. Now we will look at tonight's college football games. Yes, college football is back in the FBS in our lives finally. Rice and Houston was supposed to play. That got postponed, so did Jacksonville State and Florida International. 8 o'clock on ESPN3, you have Central Arkansas and UAB. Central Arkansas is coming off the win over Austin Peay. UAB is supposed to be the best team in the Conference USA this season. I would make this game a 12-point favorite for UAB. I think Central Arkansas is very good. I think that they can hang around in this game tonight. But ultimately, the better team is the team that's in the FBS, and that is the UAB Blazers, who are actually favored by 21.5 over under 50.5. I'm taking Central Arkansas to cover the 21.5. I just think that they're one of the more underrated FCS schools. They're number 11 in the polls. Oh, they're 11 in the preseason poll. I think that they can hang around here with UAB and give them a relevant and fun game. So give me Central Arkansas plus the 21.5. Although I do think that UAB will win the game. South Alabama against Southern Miss at 9 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. I would make this game Southern Miss by 16.5, and it's 13.5, so I have a 3-point edge on Southern Miss here. Over under 55.5. I'm going to lay the points with Southern Miss. I think that they're the much better team. I think South Alabama's in for a long season in the Sun Belt. Southern Miss, meanwhile, I think could have a really good year in Conference USA. So give me Southern Miss minus the 13.5 at home against South Alabama. And no college football on Friday, but of course we're going to pick the games on the slate for the weekend on tomorrow's podcast. Okay. Now I'm going to go over the results in the U.S. Open from the last couple games or days. We're really just yesterday and look ahead to today's. I'll start with the men's second round. 4-seeded Stefanos Tsitsipas over Maxime Cressy in 3 sets. 12-seeded Denis Shapovalov over Kwon Soon Woo in 4 sets. Ricardas Berinkas over Steve Johnson in 4 sets. 27-seeded Borna Coric over Juan Ignacio Lorendo in 5 sets. 19-seeded Taylor Fritz over Jill Simone in 3 sets. 20-seeded Pablo Carreño Busta over Mitchell Kruger in 3 sets. Cameron Norrie over Federico Coria in 3 sets. Alejandro Dajovic Fokina over 24-seeded Hubert Hurkacz in 4 sets. 32-seeded Adrian Manarino over Jack Sock in 3 sets. Jan-Leonard Struff over Michael Moe in 3 sets. Struff's your 28 seed. 1-seeded Novak Djokovic over Kyle Edmund in 4 sets. 7-seeded David Goffin over Lloyd Harris in 4 sets. Jordan Thompson over Igor Gerasimov in 4 sets. Alexander Zverev, your 5 seed over Brandon Nakashima in 4 sets. Where did I leave off? Right here. Mikhail Kukushkin upsets 13-seeded Christian Garin in 5 sets. And last but not least, 26-seeded Filip Krajinovic over Marcos Giron in 3 sets. All right, look ahead to today's thus far. A couple final in the second round. You got Roberto Bautista Agut over Miomir Kekmanovic in 4 sets. 11-seeded Karen Kaknavov over Andrei Kuznetsov in 3 sets. And going on right now, 21-seeded Alex de Minaur and Richard Gasquet. Here, I'm going to go with de Minaur. He's just a better player. And then third round begins tomorrow. You got Filip Krajinovic and David Goffin. I'm going to go with Goffin there. You got Cameron Norrie and Alejandro Dajovic Fokina. I'm going to go with Norrie. You got Jordan Thompson and Mikhail Kukushkin. I'm going to go with Thompson. Novak Djokovic against Jan-Leonard Struff. I'm going to go with Djokovic. You got a good matchup here. Denis Shapovalov and Taylor Fritz. I'm going to go with Taylor Fritz for the upset here. 20-seeded Pablo Carreño Busta and Ricardas Berinkas. I'm going to go with Carreño Busta there. 4-seeded Stefanos Tsitsipas and 27-seeded Borna Coric. We'll go with Tsitsipas. And last but not least, 32-seeded Adrian Manarino and 5-seeded Alexander Zverev. We'll go with Zverev in that match. Now we'll switch over to women's second round. You got an upset. Madison Brengel over Diana Yastremka in 2 sets. Yastremska goes the 19 seed. 4-seeded Naomi Osaka over Camila Giorgi in 2 sets. Marta Kostyuk over 31-seeded Anastasia Sevastova in 2 sets. You had Shelby Rogers upset 11-seeded Elena Rybakina in 2 sets. Another upset, An Lee over 13-seeded Allison Risk in 2 sets. Another big upset, 32-seeded Caroline Garcia over 1-seeded Carolina Pliskova in 2 sets. You had Jessica Pegula over Kristen Flipkins in 3 sets. Jennifer Brady, your 28-seed over Cece Bellis in 2 sets. 23-seeded Yulia Putintseva over Vera Lapko in 2 sets. 6-seeded Petra Kvitova over Katerina Kozlova in 2 sets. 8-seeded Petra Martic over Katarina Bondarenko in 2 sets. 17-seeded Angelique Kerber over Annalena Friedman in 2 sets. Varvara Gracheva over Kristina Madlovic in 3 sets. Madlovic was your 30 seed, so that was a seeding upset there. 14-seeded Annette Kontaveit over Kaja Juvan in 2 sets. 24-seeded Magda Linette over Danka Kovnovic in 3 sets. And last but not least, Alexandra Sasnovich upsets 12-seeded Marketa Vondrasova in 2 sets. Today's thus far, we have a couple final. 20-seeded Karolina Muchova over Anna Kalinskaya in 2 sets. 2-seeded Sofia Kenin over Leila Annie Fernandez in 2 sets. 15-seeded Maria Sakkari over Bernarda Pera in 3 sets. Sveta Prinkova over Gabriela Muguruza in 2 sets. So that was an upset. Muguruza was your 10. 18-seeded Donna Vecek over Patricia Maria Tig in 2 sets. 27-seeded Ons Jabeur over Kaya Kanepi in 2 sets. Amanda Anisimova over Katarina Scott in 3 sets. Anisimova, your 22 seed. Going on right now, you have 9-seeded Joanna Konta and Serena Cirstea. We're going to go with Konta there. And then matches to come, you got Elise Cornet and Islante Bonaventure. We'll go with Cornet. 26-seeded Solane Stevens against Olga Govorstova. We'll go with Solane Stevens. You got Sachia Vickery and Iga Swiatek. Let's go with Swiatek there. Katie McNally and 21-seeded Ekaterina Alexandrova. We're going to go with Alexandrova there. 7-seeded Madison Keys and Aliona Bolsova will go with Keys. Elise Mertens, your 16-seed, against Sarah Sorreyes Tormo will go with Mertens. You got 5-seeded Arina Sablenka and Victoria Azarenka will go with Sablenka there. And last but not least, 3-seeded Serena Williams against Margarita Gasparyan. We have to go with Serena. I think she is motivated. Third round begins tomorrow. You got Alexandra Sasnovich and 23-seeded Yulia Putintseva. We'll go with Sasnovich for the upset there. Jessica Pegula and 6-seeded Petra Kvitova will go with Kvitova. Petra Martic, your 8-seed, against Varvara Gracheva will go with Martic. 24-seeded Magda Linette against Annette Kontaveit. So 24 versus 14. We'll go with the 14-seed in Kontaveit, in which should be a good match. 17th seed, Andrea Kerber against Ann Lee. We'll go with Kerber. Angelique Kerber. 4-seeded Naomi Osaka against Marta Katsiuk. We'll go with Osaka. You got Shelby Rogers and Madison Brengel. That's a nice one for 2 players that are not ranked. We'll go with Brengel there. And then last but not least for tomorrow, you got a nice matchup. 32-seeded Caroline Garcia against 28-seeded Jennifer Brady. I'm going to go with Brady here because I think Garcia is going to have a letdown after knocking off the 1 seed. So give me Jennifer Brady here to get the big win to move on to the next round. And we're going to pick the rest of the 3rd round and the start of the 4th round on the podcast tomorrow. Before I do Best Bet, I would like to discuss a surprising coaching hire in the NBA. The Brooklyn Nets have hired Steve Nash to be their new coach, a 4-year deal they gave him. I think this is an inspiring hire. I think it's better than Jacques Vaughn. It's better than Ty Lue. I'd rather go for the guy that is sort of an unknown and brings some intrigue rather than a LeBron product or a guy that has not been a good head coach. Although Vaughn did a nice job, but in reality, Vaughn's just an assistant to me. Like, he should be the lead assistant, and he's staying on the staff as a lead assistant. This is a really, inspiring hire by Sean Marks. This is a stunning hire. No one saw this coming. This kind of reminded me of when the Nets hired Jason Kidd 7 years ago after he retired with the Knicks. This hire, to me, has a lot to do with Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant and him knew each other through the Warriors, as Steve Nash was like a developmental coach with Golden State, and now he's going to be coaching Durant and Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn. So I think that the Nets are in for an interesting offseason. Obviously, Brooklyn, I think, has some pressure on them to get that third star to go with Durant and Irving, unless they feel that that is indeed Karis LeVert. But Brooklyn did have some other intriguing options, like Mark Jackson, who, the funny thing there is that he was the coach in Golden State before Steve Kerr, and obviously, had Mark Jackson not gotten fired from Golden State, maybe he would have perhaps coached Durant in Golden State if Golden State became what they became under Steve Kerr, under Mark Jackson. So that's a little bit of a what if Mark Jackson was hired as the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. I know they had interest in Tom Thibodeau, but he's ultimately with the Knicks. They could have potentially waited for Mike D'Antoni. I think that would have been a really good hire. There was all the rumors about Greg Popovich, and I think that would have been a home run. Obviously, and that would have made a lot of news and people's heads turned, and that would have said a lot about how Popovich would have felt about the Spurs. So that wouldn't have been a good look for the San Antonio Spurs if the Nets had hired Greg Popovich away from San Antonio, because there were some rumors about that for a while, and we've seen that before. Like, we saw that with the Celtics with the Clippers a few years ago, as they essentially traded Doc Rivers to the Clippers, as he is obviously still now the head coach of the Clippers and doing very well over there. So I think this is, like I said, inspiring hire. It's a bit of intrigue. I think he has the DNA and the personality to succeed as a head coach. Like I said, he had a job with the Warriors as a player development coach, and now he is the man in Brooklyn, and it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. And like I said, this is probably the most surprising coaching hire in a long time. Probably more surprising than Jason Kidd was, because there were rumors that Jason Kidd was interested in the Brooklyn Nets job in 2013 after he retired from the Knicks, and then ultimately he wound up getting the job. So this is arguably the most surprising coaching hire. I mean, you could even go back to last year, John Beilein with the Cavs, who's actually no longer their coach. So that's kind of weird thinking about that. But that was a surprising hire at the time. Although there were rumors that Beilein wanted to jump to the NBA. So I guess since last year at the Cavs, that this is the most surprising hire. So it's just interesting to see how this works out. And now there's, like I said, there's pressure on the Nets to make some moves to get themselves sort of back in the mix in the Eastern Conference with Toronto, Boston, and Milwaukee, and Miami. And we'll see about the Pacers and the Sixers as well. And last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. I lost yesterday. I missed by one run on the Twins-White Sox game. I had the over, but there was a combined 9 runs. The White Sox offense did not show up to the party, so that ultimately came back to bite me. So my best bet, I really want to go with Central Arkansas. I did. But I am going to go to a team that has been so loyal to me this year in the bubble and even pre-pandemic. And that, my friends, is the Denver Nuggets, who are getting a whopping 8.5 against the Clippers. This should be a 2-point Clippers line. Clippers will win. Denver covers. So give me the Nuggets plus the 8.5 against the Clippers for my best bet of the day. That's it for the podcast today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping all the games and all the sports. And I'll pick the NASCAR games for Labor Day weekend. College football, more games for that. Wide receiver rankings tomorrow, as well as tight ends. Offensive line is going to be with defensive line on Monday, on Labor Day. It's unfortunate I have to do a podcast on Labor Day, but it is what it is at this point. I normally don't do podcasts on holidays. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But this year I am because of football. And then you got the linebackers Tuesday and the defensive backs Wednesday and then kickers and punters on Thursday. And then the Mega Predictions podcast coming on Wednesday night. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.